What's up?
How's it going, buddy?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Did you recover from last night? Getting out, being able to watch the 2 hours of greatness, or what?
It was phenomenal, of course.
Yes, it was.
I need
Yes, it
more.
was.
I would pay to watch all 10 right now. I would spend,
I agree. I agree. I said it most definitely did not disappoint. Let's put it that way.
I can't wait for next week. That's for sure.
I hear you. I hear you. I can't wait for the 5 weeks to get done, and then you can just sit and watch all 10 episodes back to back to back to back.
Well, let's just maybe plan on when the 5 weeks are done, this whole thing is over, and we can actually get into a real gym and actually start applying some of the lessons we learned.
That would be very, very good. That would be very good.
That's what we can hope for. Oh, well, if you want to get going, we can just jump right into it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Give some if you want, just to give some updates on what we're doing, what we're going to be doing, and everything.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's jumping on right now. It's good to see a lot of familiar names and, really excited about just some of the things we've got going on. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk a little bit about the wonderful series that started last night on the greatest player ever to play the game. I know Braden Carlson just jumped on here and he thinks he's the greatest player ever to play, but I'd rate Braden number three, Jordan number one, and then of course myself, and then Braden right behind me. And Braden knows from example all the many nights of him trying to guard me of his demise. Let's put it that way. So that'll get him going. But no, like we're really excited. Like, I don't know if people have been able to check out our Facebook page at all today, but we started our senior honoring. We got 60 seniors that played for us last summer that are going to be graduating in the next month, and we're starting to individually honor each one of them, and it's been pretty cool. I mean, really, really cool to be able to get those out on each kid. And so excited about doing that. We're going to do that all entire week, just flat out, just honoring the seniors that all played for us. And kind of unique for a program like ours to have 60 seniors who played last summer for us. So spread out from all over. Matter of fact, we just completed one today. We have a young lady who played on our all-native team that played. She's an all-stater from Hardin, Montana, and going to go do some great things at the collegiate level. So that's pretty awesome. Really, honestly, we're really excited about our Zoom workouts. So last week was our first full week, and we did 16 different workout sessions last week. We had 1,050 athletes, 1,050 athletes that worked out with us last week virtually on the Zoom workout. So absolutely amazing. The signups and registrations are going on right now. They're up until noon tomorrow. For this week's, we have 16 workouts again this week. 4 of them are strength and conditioning. 12 are basketball. On Wednesday, anybody who's doing the Wednesday workouts, you have to have a hoop because we're gonna be getting a full shooting workout in on Wednesday. So that will be on Wednesday. We are looking right now, Greg. We still have about 12 hours of registration, but we are already surpassed where we were at last week. So I'm going to guess we're going to be at 1,200 to 1,400 athletes this week that we work out. So really excited about that, man. I mean, it's so cool to be able to work out with so many kids. We've got kids from 8 different states right now that are working out with us, and from all staters, big time high school players, all the way down to some of our sessions that have the third and fourth graders in it. So that part's been really, really cool. Rich Winter, our sports writer, man, he's been spitting out all kinds of amazing articles. The pay-per-view site that we have right now, it's $20 a year, and we've already had 141 articles. We've got all of our podcasts. We've got tons of drills on there, you name it. And five of those $20 goes to feeding South Dakota that we're donating. So we've already got a pretty good substantial amount of money that we'll write a check to Feeding South Dakota at the end of the month. So we're really excited about that as well. You've been doing a great job with the Instagram Live. We've got some heavy hitters on here, from Matt Mooney on Friday to Drew Hanlon to you name it. And we're just working today on finalizing an interview with Drew again. And then obviously we've got the one coming up with Alan Stein, and all you guys all of you athletes and parents out there, man. Alan he's as good as you're going to get. And so We're excited to bring Alan Stein and Drew Hamlin to you guys. Probably towards the end of the week, this week is what we're thinking. So we got a lot going on, man. 16 workouts, 1,200 kids, Drew Hamlin, Alan Stein, some articles honoring our seniors. I said, people are asking when we first started, are you gonna be able to stay busy? It's like, gee, many Christmas, man. I'm busier now than ever have been. So it's been good. It's been really, really good, and we're just blessed. We got a lot of people that are doing it. We are gonna put up our team store too tonight, man. We got some really cool new logo just for our virtual workouts, and it's has some saying on it like the quarantine can't stop me from getting my goals and stuff like that. So some pretty legit stuff, man. So we were working on that all day today, and that's going to go out tonight. So the team store action will be available with our quarantine virtual workout gear that you can get. So pretty excited, pretty excited. So that's what's up on the Sacred Hoops front, Gregory. We got workouts going on in Aberdeen. We got virtual workouts going on up there too, and Sam and I are cranking out a ton down in this way. Coach Dwight's been jumping in on some of the basketball workouts too, which has been cool. Sam and I are going to Wednesday. We're going to tag team our workouts, so we're actually going to do them together. He'll do a drill, I'll do a drill. He'll do a drill, I'll do a drill. And those workouts on Wednesday will be a full hour, just because the two of us are doing them together. So that'll be exciting.
And you're looking to get like some guest basketball knowledge people on the Zoom workouts too, aren't you?
Yeah, this week we're gonna have some pretty cool big announcements. We're actually gonna have some big name guys joining our workouts next week, and so our goal is to have one pro guest per day next week. So towards the end of the week, Greg, we're gonna unveil the names of our guest clinicians, one per day, and we'll have a pro per day on those. So we're kind of excited about that. Although you all know, and Braden especially knows how well I can handle the rock. So I'm a little concerned about showing some of those guys up. I might have to downplay it just a little bit, Greg.
Jeepers. So the comment I've been getting from a lot of people is how we are able to manage all of this. All of our, we're doing workouts with Zoom, we're doing podcasts, we're writing stories, and a bunch of other things behind the scenes that people don't see. So how are we capable of doing this compared to anybody else?
First of all, it's no different than what people watched last night. Like when you are watching a story about Michael Jordan winning championships and you could write the same story for Kobe and Magic and Larry and LeBron when he retires. No team can be really successful without having people around them. Like one person can't win championships all by himself, right? And so the greatest analogy is this: we've got one hell of a team, Greg. I mean, our team is amazing. If people knew the amount of hours that we're putting in daily as a team to do what we do, they wouldn't even understand. And what's cool is as we've evolved, everyone's kind of started to find their niche. Rich Winter does our article stuff, and he's phenomenal. He's the best there is. There's no doubt about it. He is the best there is. And you really taken on a big chunk of the interview part of things and the podcasting and things like that. I mean, everyone's starting to take their little thing. Skylar is really got into really taking over our strength and conditioning portion of it. So it's not that I think people a lot of times, and this is what people have to understand too, is I think sometimes they think Sacred Hoops and they think that I'm out here doing everything and all this and all that. But it's really, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without having a really great team around me and everybody doing their part. Like everyone's doing their role, right? And because of that, like we're not backed by big money. We don't have the big money coming from all these other organizations like some of these other basketball academies do. But the big money doesn't mean nothing when you've got great people. And so what really separates us from everybody else is one, our work ethic and our drive, number one. And number two, we've got great people who are all doing it for one reason and one reason only. And it has nothing to do with dollars and cents. It has everything to do with helping our young people become better and giving them an opportunity to learn about life through the game of basketball. And so when you have everybody in tune and everyone's got the same mentality and the same mindset and the same journey, we're all walking in the same direction. When that happens, I don't care who or what gets put in front of you, they're getting ran over. And that's what's happened. I get asked the number one, you get asked that question a lot. I get asked something completely differently. How do you keep up with your competition? I don't know how many times this has been asked to me. And the competition, obviously, they're talking about the big two that are backed by hospital companies. My first statement is this: we don't have competition. We don't have it. And the reason why I say that is not to put either one of those guys down or anybody else down, because I am, as a basketball coach, I am completely great for everybody who's helping kids get better. Like, if you're out there helping a kid play basketball, then I have the utmost respect for you. So I have the utmost respect for all of them. The difference is we're not competing with them because we don't set in our meetings, Greg. You're in our meetings twice a week. Do we ever in our meetings ever talk about or wonder how much money we're making, or if we're going to make any money, or has the word money ever been brought up?
Not really, no.
It's always about how many kids are we going to reach, who can we help, what areas of our region needs more help, whether it's basketball help or exposure help or whatever that might be, right? So the difference is we're doing it for a reason, and I think everybody that's on our team all understand that, they believe in it, and we all walk the same path. So that might be the longest answer in the history of answering one question that you just asked me, but it's the easiest way to answer, is that we are one team built around one mission, and we all believe in it. And if you got a basketball team that's doing that, Greg, you're going to win championships.
That's true. About 2 weeks ago in a meeting, you started it off by saying we're not a program, we're not just a group of coaches, we're more than basketball. And this is how you end. You said we're a movement. And I wanted to run through a wall when you said that. What did you mean when you said we're a movement?
Because we're bigger. I feel in my heart and in my brain, we're bigger than basketball. Meaning that and I mean that in the most humblest of ways. That basketball is simply an engine for us to be able to reach people, help people, and do things that should be done for people that aren't being done. Too many times, and again, I was in those backdoor meetings all the time before, that the only conversation was had was about what everybody else was doing and how we could keep up with other people. The conversations were never about how can we help. How can we make the game of basketball better? How can we make our youth better? How can we make our youth through these tough times? How can we use the game of basketball to help them through the difficult times that they're dealing with right now? Because all of us, you and I, love the game. All the kids that play for us love the game. Everybody who follows us and follows the other programs love the game. They all love the game of basketball. Most of us love the game of basketball because it's much bigger than just going out and putting a ball in a hoop, right? And so when you can use something that somebody loves to help them in other areas of life, now you've made a difference. So the reason why I think that we've got a platform, I really believe we've got a major platform that we can talk about things like teenage suicide, that we can talk about things like socioeconomic differences, that we can talk about things like cultural differences amongst our people in South Dakota, that when you walk, I don't care where you live in South, don't care. I don't care. You can live in Buffalo, South Dakota, in the far northwest corner. You can live in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. You can live in the middle of South Dakota. I don't care. We are all different, right? We are culturally different. We're racially different. We are brought up that way here in South Dakota. But yet, to me, the one common thread we have is when you go Tuesday night and Friday night on anywhere in South Dakota, and you'll see kids from different locations, kids from different socioeconomic statuses, kids from different races on a court with uniforms and hoop shoes, and they're just hooping it up. And those things get thrown away. So why can't we use the game to make us better as people, not just players, but as people? And I really think it's why we're at where we're at now. It's why we have 600 kids playing for us in the summer. It's why we work out 4,000 athletes every single year. It's why we're doing 220 high school program workouts. We're damn good at what we do. We're damn good at what we do. I mean, I'll go work out a kid against anybody in America, and that's not me just sitting there patting myself on the back. I'm just flat out telling you that. I mean, I like Drew Hanlon, but I'll be on a court with Drew Hanlon any day and work out anybody right beside him. I won't be intimidated one bit.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
But by the same token, it's much bigger than that. Like I'm when we get done, I'm making a phone call to some parent who asked me to call his kid who's going to school at University of Minnesota Morris because they're struggling with things right now. That's why we're different. And so we're not a basketball program. We're a basketball movement. And I'm gonna be honest with you. It's people ask me all the time. Well, I got a statement 2 years ago from a local school administrator. I won't name his name. Sometime I will, just because I like doing those things. But he said, you guys are getting too big. Well, I'm just telling you, we're not big enough.
True.
Because there's so many more kids out there that need what we're doing. There's so many more kids that need people to believe in them. There's so many more kids out there that need someone to give them an opportunity. There's so many more kids that need to be taught the fundamentals of the game better. There's so many more coaches out there that need more tools, need more support. There's so many more parents that need more tools and more support. We're not even scratching the surface of where we're going to be or where we're going. And that's what I love about this. Like the second that we think, it's just like being a player or a coach, man. The second that you already think you're good enough, the second you already think you got enough skill, or as a coach you think you're already good enough, I already know everything there is to know, is the second you're going to get beat. It's the second the game's going to pass you up. It's the second you're going to get stomped in the ground and you're never going to be able to recover. You got to be hungry every day. I mean, I'm 46 years old, and there's not one day that I don't wake up and try to figure out how I can get better. Better physically, better mentally, better as spiritually, and better as a person. Not one day goes by. And the second that I wake up in the morning and I don't worry about being better, I don't worry about wanting to be better, the second I wake up and I don't feel I'm getting better, that's the second that mentally I'm dying, physically I'm dying, and spiritually I'm dying. And so the biggest piece of advice I can give to every athlete, every parent, and every coach out there, don't care who you are, don't care if you went 20-0 or 0-20, don't care if you think you're mom and dad of the year or you think you're the worst mom and dad, or whether you're first team All-State or you're the 20th person on your 20-person basketball high school team. You got to wake up every day wanting to be better. And you got to want to be better, not just for all the wrong things. I know too many people that want to be better materially. Like they want to drive the nicest cars or have the nicest houses because they want to prove something to somebody else. But you don't prove something to somebody else by things that are looking on the surface. You prove who you are by what's inside of you, not what's on the outside of you. And so actions, I've always said actions speak louder than words, but man, you have got to want to be better every day, mentally, physically, and spiritually every day. And if you're not waking up with that mindset, I'm sorry, somebody else is going to beat your butt. And that's how I live my life. And it's worked out okay so far.
Well, I really don't know how to follow that up. I feel like I can run through a wall right now. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I really don't. So I'm just gonna move on to the next thing. You're right. That's why we're great. That's why we're different than others. And you did forget to mention that we're also one of the only, if not the only, program that raises money to give kids opportunities to play basketball. And not even that, but just go to college and have some an alleviation of stress financially. There's nobody out there that does that. Not even just in South Dakota, but anywhere that raises money so you can play basketball.
And I think the biggest difference is there's a few places out there that they'll let a kid play for free here and there, and it's based off their ability level. I know kids right now in certain programs that are playing for free,
because they're really
that their families can pay for 10 people to play. But that program wants that kid to go play there, so they get him there by saying, well, you can come play for free. The kids that play for free for us flat out can't afford it. And if we didn't give them that opportunity, they wouldn't be able to play. And so there's a difference between those two things. One's about trying to do the right thing, and the other one's trying to do the thing of how you're going to look the coolest to everybody else. Like, again, it goes back to what I said before on the whole aspect of you are the person you are based off what you are inside, not by what you look on the outside.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're wrapping up the month of April here, and we would have been preparing for our first tournament here coming up at the end of, I think, this week. And obviously, our summer season's going to start later than we anticipated. And one of the things that I keep on getting is the question about recruiting. You know, how am I going to get recruited? Juniors going to be seniors next year that take the summer to get noticed. And as we know, a lot of our kids, they get noticed in the summertime because we have so many jerseys around that college coaches see a wide number of our players. So what are some things that, now I know that we will be offering help within the recruitment realm of things, but what are some things that, like, players, high schoolers, juniors going to be seniors, what can they be doing right now to, be preparing for their recruitment season?
Well, this is huge. And unfortunately, one of the things that we have to do this summer, is we have to really work hand in hand with the high school coaches. There's not enough high school coaches out there that are actually doing what they need to be doing with getting information out to college coaches, contacting. And that's not this is not anything bad towards a high school coach. It's just a lot of them don't know what they should be doing. With the recruiting part of it, obviously with us not playing, hopefully we get some stuff in late summer. Let's put it that way. I really think we're gonna get something in hopefully in July and August. But regardless of that, high school athletes, the two biggest things you can do right now is you need to start thinking about, one, academically, what do you want to go into? Because you can want to go play college basketball all you want. You might have one or two offers to go play somewhere, but if they don't offer what you want academically, to be real honest with you, it's not a good fit. So you need to, first of all, understand academically, what do you want to do? And based off of what you want to do academically, start to do your research on the different colleges and universities that offer degrees that fit what you want to do. And as that happens, then you can start to look at, okay, of those universities and colleges that offer what I want to do academically, now which of those has a basketball program I'd like to play for? So you start to make a list. Long story short, make a list. Make a list of colleges that you somebody in your life that I call like a basketball advisor. Number one, it could be your high school coach. That's awesome. Number two, it could be someone like myself. It could be a guy running a program like ours. If you're not involved in a summer program right now, I got kids playing for other programs reaching out to us asking for help. I got tons of kids playing for other programs asking for help. You don't have to play for Sacred Hoops. I'm not one of those guys that's going to say, well, just because you're not playing for us, I ain't going to help you. If someone says that to you, by the way, leave the program, to be honest with you, because they don't care about you, okay? But I don't care who you are. If you need help, ask, because we'll more than help you. But the second part of that is that basketball advisor needs to then reach out for you. Every college has a basketball questionnaire, for example. Every one of you athletes can jump on the university webpage, go to their basketball part, and fill out the basketball questionnaire. The second you fill it out, the coaching staff gets it. They'll look at it. They'll probably reach out to you. If not, they'll reach out to somebody like me, and they'll start asking questions. So that'd be the first thing. Make a list. Talk to a person that you trust through basketball. Talk about the list. See what connections they have. Go to the website. Fill out the basketball questionnaire. And then really a plan needs to start being put into place. In the fall, you need to start checking out colleges. You need to go on campus. You need to go visit the coach. You need to go visit the school. You need to visit the academic advisors. You need to meet the team. Hopefully you can get on the court and play with them a little bit. That's the best way to know you're fit, is to get on the court and play with the guys. You'll know if it's a place you should be playing at or not. Trust me, in an hour and a half, you'll know I like it or I don't like it. That's really important. And then really, people like us have to do a really good job. Like every one of our seniors that are playing for us this summer, we create a recruiting profile. we'll send it out to every college coach that we feel that athlete can play for at the level they can play for. And then we'll continue to contact. Trust me, it works. I mean, we in 2 years, we've had 46 kids go get college basketball scholarships. So there's no other program that can even touch that. So that's how it works. But for right now, that's what I would say. Get a list, check out the colleges, get a basketball person that you can get help from, and then start to create a plan of when you can get out to those schools and visit them. That's a good question, Greg.
One of the things that I also thought about is most high school programs and players have the use of huddle. And, coaches will put game film on there. If college coaches are going to be unable to get out to tournaments to watch you play, it may be in your best interest to maybe try and piece together a highlight tape through huddle. It's the easiest thing you can do to just clip a little something, and then you can send it to somebody like your high school coach or to Coach Bertram, who can then send it out to college coaches from all over the place. I think that would be...
The college coaches got to see you. Yeah. And so, obviously, when things get a little bit serious, if they're really wanting to look at you, they're going to want film because they're not going to be able to get on the court and see you in June. Mm-hmm. So you do need to have some of that prepped. I would be very leery when you before you go and put a highlight film together, talk to somebody like us, because I just got done watching a highlight film the other night of somebody. One of the things we're doing right now is kids are sending us game film and we're breaking it down for them. Like literally they're getting an honest and open opinion on their game. And most of the time, if I'm doing it, you're going to get a lot more negatives than you are positives. That's just how it's going to be, but that's how you get better, right? But don't go putting a highlight film together of a game where you made 8 threes and the minute and a half of the highlight film was just you making 8 threes. Who cares? That don't tell me nothing. I didn't see you defend. I didn't see you handle. I didn't see you nothing, right? So put together something where they can actually see you play the game. That's really important, guys, when it goes there. Let them see the things you can do. But yeah, those are all, again, the best thing I can say, Greg, is for those people to reach out and ask. Mm-hmm. That's the best thing they can do.
All right, this is how we're ending it.
Yeah.
This is how we're going to end it. We can't leave until we talk about the greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan. I got the 45 jersey, the 45. Rep it any day.
I love it.
So why is this man, Michael Jordan, who has a 10-part documentary series made about him, why is he the greatest player of all time?
Well, I say this, and again, this is of the utmost respect to every great player, and even the utmost respect to a lot of people out there who are always chiming in on the GOAT debate, which I want to say this right off the bat. I mean, like LeBron is great. He's a great player. Kobe is a great player. Magic Johnson is a great player. Those people are world-class, some of the greatest players ever to play basketball, right? What really drives me nuts when you get into the debate of who the greatest of all time is how they'll start to slam other guys. Like the LeBron people will slam the Jordan career and nitpick it. I mean, dude, you don't nitpick Michael Jordan. You shouldn't be nitpicking LeBron either. Those people are great. They're the greatest of great, right? So the first thing when someone's doing that in the GOAT debate, that's the first sign to throw it in the garbage, because that's somebody that doesn't really know basketball. I mean, that's just being honest. For me personally, I get why the younger generation think LeBron's the greatest, because they've never seen Jordan in his prime. Mm-hmm. Most of the high school kids never seen Kobe in his prime, mm-hmm. to be honest with you. A lot of people who grew up when Kobe was in his prime when they were growing up, that's your Kobe guys. Those are the people who think Kobe is the greatest. I'm old enough where I saw Jordan in his prime.
Mm-hmm. Lucky.
I saw Kobe in his prime, and I saw LeBron in his prime. I saw all three in their prime. Now, if someone were to come to me and say, Dr. J's the greatest, or Oscar Robertson's the greatest,
yeah,
I can't debate it. I never watched those two people in their prime. I didn't. So I can't, I'm just speaking from the Kobe, LeBron, Jordan. I saw them all in their prime. And all three of them, great players. Jordan is this. Jordan is the greatest killer of all the hunters. He's the greatest killer of all the hunters. Mm-hmm. When you're playing at that level, you're playing for two reasons and two reasons only. You're hunting. Every pro player is a hunter. Either you're hunting for the paycheck or you're hunting for the trophy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're hunting for when you're in the NBA. Okay? So he's the greatest killer of all the hunters. And the reason is, like, if you want to look at the body of work, like, you can always pick apart statistics. LeBron scored more career points. Jordan's played in a lot less games. So statistics don't mean nothing to me, but when you go to single season points and all that, LeBron's never touched Jordan in those areas, right? But if we were debating just on statistics, Wilt Chamberlain then would have to be the greatest player of all time.
That's true.
Because hell, he averaged 50 and averaged 25 boards for a season, for crying out loud, right? But here's what makes him different. First of all, any person that goes and plays in 6 NBA finals and never loses is a killer. That's a killer. Like, if I'm going to go play in a game, the person I want playing for me is a person that never loses. Because the greatest never loses. Right?
Mm-hmm.
When the biggest games happen, he never lost. Ever. The second part is this. He made everybody around him better. I saw some statements today which were very true. People were talking about how, well, if Scotty wasn't there, he would have never won 6 titles. No doubt about it. But if you knuckleheads think that LeBron would have won a title without Ray Allen and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and Kyrie and go down the list of all the Hall of Famers that he played with to win, if you didn't think that Larry Bird wasn't going to win a title without Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale, if you don't think Magic Johnson wasn't going to win a title with the all-time leading scorer in the history of basketball, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I'll go down the list.
For sure.
So throw it out. But I will say this. When you look at his desire to win, nobody had a greater desire to win. And I have had a lot of conversation with people because the Kobe people are a lot closer to my age than the LeBron guys are. But I said the ultimate sign of respect for Jordan is that if you study the game, and I would challenge anybody to truly study. If you haven't watched Jordan play, go and study him playing the game of basketball. And when you get done studying that, go back and study Kobe. And you tell me that everything that Kobe does, it's a carbon copy of him trying to copy Michael Jordan.
True.
And so the greatest respect of greatness is that you want to emulate it. And if you're trying to emulate greatness in everything you do, you're never going to quite be able to reach the ultimate greatness level. And so bottom line is, he's twice the killer LeBron is. LeBron's a better athlete. LeBron's more physical. LeBron's stronger. Mm-hmm. Jordan's a killer. And that's the difference. That's the difference. And so Jordan is the greatest mid-range player of all time. People who are dumb that don't get the game, well, he would be able to score today. The game's different. Trust me, boys and girls, with the old defense of 3 seconds thrown out, Michael Jordan would score 50 a night. You guys don't understand the game of basketball before you make statements like that.
That's what you just said it, like the defense of 3 seconds, that wasn't a thing back then. So guys Dikembe Mutombo was one of the best shot blockers ever played basketball, just got to sit.
It's why the game was so physical back then, because they plugged the paint. And so you weren't getting free rides to the basket. If you did go, you were getting knocked on your rear end. In today's game, because of how you have to play defensively, you beat your first line defender and you're in the paint every single time. And so, yeah, today's game is all about threes and layups. That's what it is. But that's because, and if you don't think Michael Jordan wouldn't score 40 a night in today's rules, dude, don't even talk basketball to me, because you've never studied his game and you don't understand how great he was. And so again, no disrespect to Kobe and LeBron. They are great players. But they're the greatest killer of all the hunters is Michael Jordan.
The thing that I always bring up to anyone who I have this argument with, which this argument is probably a weekly occurrence for me, is let's think about MJ in today's age of basketball compared to back then. Back then, they didn't have the nutrition. They didn't have the supplements. They didn't have the lifting. They didn't have the training. They didn't have the social media. Imagine MJ with LeBron's nutrition plan, with his world-class trainers. with anything like the weightlifting, everything could go involves. You know, social media is huge now. If LeBron has a 50-point game, it's all over, and you see that for hours and hours and hours. Imagine like last night. They're talking about MJ's first two games against the Celtics. It was 49, and you know what?
63,
Yeah,
and not only does he go for 63, but he's playing with a bunch of chumps.
yeah,
He has nobody around him, and he's playing against 4 Hall of Famers. And that's
yeah.
his second year in the league. People don't get it. And they were talking about, look at this guy's guarding him. Dude, that Celtics series that he scored 49 and 63 in the first two games, 4 Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm.
4 Hall of Famers on the court at one time. We talk about dream teams and stacked teams. That was as stacked as any team's ever been, and their results showed it. And he single-handedly did what he did. I mean, he could just do everything. He could post you. He could play the one. He could shoot it. His mid-range game, he shot 50% from mid-range. Who the hell does that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people all over him. And here's what people don't get. He's like a 12, 13-time defensive first team all NBA defense. He's a multiple defensive player of the year. And when you talk about the GOATs, guys, I hate to tell you, but I'm glad you got some statistics behind you. But LeBron's never been a defensive player. He never will be. He's a horrible defender. He does not play defense. Now, could he? Yeah. But that's the difference between the two players. He chooses not to. That's why he's not a killer, boys and girls. Jordan didn't take a play off. He didn't take a game off. And that's on both ends of the floor.
82
that's
games,
on both ends.
Off. No rest.
I just say this. Don't tell me that someone is a GOAT that decides he's only going to play one half the floor or is only going to pick and choose when he's going to play hard. That's the dumbest thing in the entire world and I would say this to people, and I mean this. And people can think I'm crazy. I don't care. I've watched a lot more, played a lot more, and coached a lot more basketball than 99% of the people out there. But to be truthful, if you really want to talk about an all-around player, Kobe's even better than LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
All around. Defender, skill-wise on offense, killer mentality, the whole 9 yards, any day. And that's just how it is. If I was going into NBA championship, NBA finals, and you said you got Kobe, Jordan, and LeBron, you, me, and somebody else is going to do a little round-robin draft, right? And you get first pick and you pick Jordan. I get second pick. I'm picking Kobe.
Yeah, for sure. More the Mamba mentality is obviously an iconic thing. And I always this is my argument too, is LeBron and Kobe, they don't have a book called the Jordan Rules. Jordan Rules, if you don't know what the Jordan Rules are, go and learn about it, because it's the craziest stuff ever. My third point is there would be no LeBron or Kobe without Michael, because those two chase Jordan. They chased him.
Well, not only did he change the game, Greg, but he allowed for people to want to achieve that pinnacle.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's what greatness does. Like, he's inspired LeBron to be great. If people don't think LeBron's not chasing Jordan, they're silly. And Kobe, again, go back and study those two players. Study them hard. You're going to see even the way that Kobe walked was like Michael Jordan. The way he moved was like Michael Jordan. The way he talked was like everything he did was Michael Jordan. And so he inspired those guys to be better, to be greater players. And in turn, the game today is as great as it is because of Michael Jordan. And so I think the same thing can be said about, like, here's my two biggest takeaways from last night. Okay. And this is what I think most kids, I hope, really understood about last night. Number one, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen's a freshman in college, and he's the equipment manager at an NAIA school. He's an equipment manager, again, at an NAIA. Couldn't even make the team. Okay? Jordan gets cut from his high school team as a sophomore. So these aren't kids that were McDonald's All-Americans. These aren't Bronny, these guys who are on TV every single day and being touted and all ready to go. Again, just to show you the work ethic of those two people, Scottie Pippen's one of the 50 greatest players to ever play in the NBA. In his freshman year at the NAI level, he was the equipment manager, people. Not at a D1 school, not at a D2 school. He was the equipment manager at an NAI school. And he's now one of the 50 greatest players ever to play in the league. So don't tell me he didn't work his butt off. Michael Jordan goes from being cut his sophomore year to, you've seen it last night, Roy Williams, who was the assistant coach at the time, when he starts to go and Jordan starts to become better at the high school level the next 2 years, they invite him to the Carolina camp. They don't even know who he is other than a little tiny bit. And after 5 days, Roy Williams goes, that's the best player in the country.
Mm-hmm.
2 years before that, he couldn't even make Laney High School's basketball team. So if anybody takes, and if the kids are really watching and listening to what is going on, there's a much bigger picture to what that whole documentary is about. Like, everybody, I see Josiah on here, I see Brendan on here, I see Sam on here, I see some kids on here that could be really great players. You guys, if you had that mentality that you're just going to wake up every day and you're going to figure out what you got to do to be great, and if you think you're working hard, find a way to work harder. If you think 2 hours a day is good enough, then you're not going to be good enough. If you guys will wake up every day and just say, hey, right now I got nothing but time, and I'm going to dedicate every second I have to being the best I can be, you will be amazed what will happen to you. You will be amazed. But I will tell you, if either one of those two would have sat back and complained or said, oh, the coach don't like me, or if Scotty's at the college and say, I'm getting screwed over, and just starts pouting and going out and doing things they shouldn't be doing, partying, all that kind of stuff, they're not where they're at today. Those are two of the best players ever. That's the greatest player of all time and somebody else that's a top 50 player that both got told that they weren't good enough at a very old age in the basketball game. So from our standpoint, and I mean this for a lot of our high school kids, I get really tired of kids and their parents, when things don't go their way, pointing fingers, pouting, making blame, when all you got to do is get off your butt and work. Like, there's never going to be a time in your life where everything's going to work out perfectly. But I'm going to tell you this much, man. If you go out and you sweat your butt off every day and you give everything you got, eventually you're going to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. But the days that you sit there and complain and whine and make excuses is just another day you're getting worse. That's the God honest truth. And so as I was watching last night, Greg, my biggest takeaway was, man, I hope the kids are getting a bigger picture out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there'll be a lot more of those bigger picture stories, but as this goes through, and I really hope our kids watching it get the bigger picture out of it. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Greatest player of all time. Don't argue with me. I'll go all day.
I agree. I agree.
All right, closing remarks. What do you got?
I want to say this, I think I was just talking to someone today. They were still complaining about the quarantine, about the whole situation that's going on. And I just finally I had enough of it. And I said, listen, man, life deals you a hand every day. It's like playing cards, right? You're going to get dealt a hand. You don't know if that hand's going to have 4 aces in it or if you're going to have a bunch of crap. You don't know. But you can find a way to win regardless of what hand you have. Sometimes you got to bluff your way through it, and sometimes you just lay down one hell of a hand that nobody can beat. But just because you're dealt with crap doesn't mean you can't win. And so I think we all have to do a better job of not focusing on all the crap that's going on. We got to start focusing on the things that we can do to become better, to help each other out, and to make the most of it. I think that, as basketball players, we always talk about, you have this chance to get better every day. You have a chance to get better. But as people, even more importantly, we have even a greater chance, man. And so I just hope that through this whole entire ordeal that we're going through right now, I hope more people are taking some time to stop and think about things that they can do to become a better person, how they can help more people, how they can make themselves better. I talked to somebody young 2 days ago. So how much you reading? I said, well, I'm not. Well, then what the hell are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like get off the Xbox for 4 hours. Pick up a book for an hour about something that's going to make you better. It's going to make you think. And so I hope that more people will stop and do those things, Greg, during this time. I really do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for